What is going on, everyone? What a big day in the NBA. We're gonna welcome back to another episode of Beat the Buzzer. We're gonna go over the trade deadline, all the news today. I'm here, Jack, with my co-host Graham, as always. Graham, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Well, very exciting day, very exciting week leading up to today. A lot of stuff happened, a lot of movement. So we're excited to jump into the latest news of all of it. Quick reminder: if you aren't already subscribed, make sure to do so because it helps us out a lot. Another reminder: we did start our TikTok finally, so go check it out. It's just Beat the Buzzer. So huge day in the NBA. Like we said, we're going to focus on more of the blockbuster trades. Like we'll start out with the Harden Simmons trade, and then we'll briefly touch on the less meaningful ones.
Yeah, we're gonna not keep ourselves to a timer today because we're just gonna talk about the trades, not many varying topics. So I'll let Graham start off with the James Harden, Ben Simmons trade. Who do you think won the trade? Which team will probably go farther now in the playoffs? Give all your opinions on that.
Okay, so as I understand it, it is Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond too,
Yeah, and two first
and,
round
and
picks.
two first round picks for James Harden and
Paul Millsap.
just Paul Millsap. That's right. Who might still get bought out for them. I'm not
I
really
hope
sure.
so.
Yeah, I would love that. Come to Chicago, Paul. But I really do think that the Brooklyn Nets did win this trade. I also agree that it is both a W for both teams. I think Ben Simmons being able to guard the best player on the court every night, whether it's Giannis or whether it's Harden in the playoffs, is going to be crucial for them. And he doesn't need to score the ball as much anymore like he did in Philly. He was averaging almost 14 points a game, which isn't bad by any means. And he can still average his 7, 8 assists and grab 8 rebounds, which is a really, really nice player for them.
Oh yeah.
Also, another thing with the Brooklyn Nets is they needed size. Andre Drummond is size. Still
Huge.
one of the best rebounders in the
It's
NBA,
huge for us.
coming off the bench even. It's massive. A guy who can match up. Obviously, nobody, like we said earlier, nobody can guard
Yeah.
Embiid, but match up with Embiid and body him a little bit. And then lastly, they got Seth Curry. I think as big of a win as this is for Brooklyn, it's a big, big loss for Philly. I think that he's a huge player, and at least they didn't have to give up Matisse Thybulle, but Seth Curry was really what made that offense like chug along with
Yeah.
Joel Embiid. I think the pick and roll is going to be really nice with Harden and Embiid, but not having a guy out there who's a 45% catch and shoot 3-point shooter is going to be a big loss for them. Also, it'll be interesting to see if they play Tyrese Maxey and Harden together, what that is going to look like.
Exactly.
That'll be interesting.
So I don't want anyone to get me wrong with what I'm about to say. I think James Harden going to Philly is a good move for them. That pick and roll is going to be deadly. That's the best duo in the league, probably, maybe. They're very good. They will be very good together. But I think Brooklyn easily wins this deal. You get Ben Simmons, who, when he's already plays, is a top three player or defender in the league.
I agree.
He's a great passer, great court vision, all the above. He pretty much can do everything but score the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have to. You have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant on your team. He no longer has to score the ball, and that's perfect for him. Seth Curry is a great complimentary shooter. You also have Joe Harris, who should be coming back for the playoffs. Andre Drummond is going to be huge off the bench, and two first-round picks, so they can also move the picks too. Not, of course, now the trade deadline is over, but over the summer if they want to get more assets back in return. You also cleared Harden's ginormous contract, which gives you some more. Well, Simmons is big too, but not as big.
Like 30 million, yeah.
Right, but Harden would be 47.3, which he opted into today.
Yes.
So you cleared about probably what is also done probably about 8 million in cap space, which is good enough to bring another role player over the summer. But the main problem I have is James Harden doesn't really fit as well with Philly. I don't think it's an instant fit like people think it's going to be. Him and Embiid may fit, but the entire Philadelphia offense is run through Embiid in the post. So James Harden's not a spot-up shooter. He's a good shooter, but he's not a spot-up shooter. He wants the ball in his hands. Embiid's going to be in the post all the time, but you can't really run the offense like that through him with James Harden on your team. That's why Seth Curry was huge. As Seth Curry would enter the ball and get a spot-up three every time.
Right.
So I don't know how that's going to look. Tyrese Maxey has been having a great season. Is he going to look as good with James Harden playing with him? Maybe. If James Harden plays like the point guard we saw last year, he could easily make this the best team in the league. Or if he plays selfish basketball like he has in the past and is slow and lazy like he has been this season, then it's going to be bad for him. So it's interesting to see.
And at the end of the day, it looks like the 76ers were still third or fourth in the East without Ben Simmons. So they're basically trading Seth Curry and Andre Drummond for James Harden for this year's roster,
Yeah.
which if you look at it from that standpoint, great trade for them.
It's a win-win for both teams. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's any way around that.
I think if you look at the
it'll be
breakdown of the
interesting.
trade,
And I think I do really think that Brooklyn makes a massive upgrade, more than people are giving them credit for.
Especially because I think they're going to wait to the playoffs to pay that fine for Kyrie, but I expect Kyrie to play in every single playoff game.
Yeah, me too. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all.
Yeah. So
actually, a thing that I'm confused about with Kyrie, what happens when he goes to did he play against the Warriors earlier in the year?
He did.
So that's not like an issue for him.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
But I will say that in the Eastern Conference, as a Bulls fan, I'm less scared of Philly now because we have two of the best on-ball defenders, especially perimeter defenders in the league, in Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso. And when they're healthy, they can guard James Harden. They've given James Harden problems in the past this season. Yeah. So instead of having to worry about shooters and just worry about Embiid, it gives us James Harden being so much more ball dominant means less touches for Embiid. Less touches for Embiid means it's easier for us to contain him because he just doesn't have the ball as much.
Right. Exactly.
No, I think Brooklyn and Philly are probably both better than us at the moment.
100%.
Fully unhealthy. But
right.
I think in the playoffs will be an interesting matchup to see us play them, either team. I think I'm equally as scared now, though, of Philly and Brooklyn. Well, before, actually, I was more scared of Philly than I was of Brooklyn just because they didn't have they had no defense, no bigs.
Right.
And now they do.
It'll be very interesting. Like you said, I do think that we are maybe the fourth or fifth best team in the East right now. Yeah. But again, anything can happen in the playoffs. And Jack and I were talking before, we're hoping maybe a Tristan Thompson or a Robin Lopez in the buyout market.
We will touch on the Bulls at the end of this episode.
Yes.
Let's move into Sabonis for Haliburton, pretty much. It was Sabonis, Justin Holiday, and Jeremy Lamb for Buddy Hield, Tyrese Haliburton, and Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson will be bought out. He does not plan on playing on Indiana.
Yeah. So I think immediate reaction when I first saw this trade is, why is Sacramento trading Tyrese Haliburton? So he's 21, 22. He just had a career high 17 assists for them. Plays so much better without De'Aaron Fox, and he looks like he could potentially be a future star. They do have a loaded backcourt, and I know Davion Mitchell has been playing well lately, but the thing that Sacramento really wants to do is break that playoff drought, and they had a really nice win last night against the Timberwolves. The bonus looked good, and it makes their team a lot deeper. They didn't trade Harrison Barnes, so they still have him. They didn't trade Rashawn Holmes, so they still have him. So I don't really mind it as much as people do, but I think that could be not as much as like a who do we trade Steph Curry or Monte Ellis, but like a who do we trade De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Haliburton type thing. And I think that I don't know if they made the right decision. I really don't, but only time will tell.
I don't think they made the right decision. I looked at the trade. I was like, wow, Sabonis with the Kings. Cool. And I saw it was for Haliburton. I was like, why the fuck would you trade Tyrese Haliburton away? Tyrese Haliburton is shooting over 40% from three. He is a 6'5" guard, right? 6'4", 6'5" guard who can see over defenses, pass the ball. He's a great passer. He can shoot the ball better than De'Aaron Fox can. I don't know what the Kings were thinking. I don't know why. You also gave away Buddy Hield, and I think Buddy Hield's still a good player in this league. I think the Pacers won this trade easily. Tyrese Haliburton is going to be the star of the future there. He still has rookie deal, so you have him for a couple more years before you have to pay him. Buddy Hield's also going to be a good shooter there for him. It's just, I was shocked by that move. The Kings are going to probably get like an 8 seed, 9 seed, maybe make it to the playoffs after the play-in.
Maybe.
That was stupid.
Yeah, if you look at it from from the Pacers like direction that they're going in, which looks like obviously full-blown rebuild, you have young pieces like now Haliburton, Duarte still, Turner, who you didn't trade, who's only like 25, 26.
They got Bataza to big off the bench, who's decent too.
Right, and they got picks for LeVert. They're and they will probably have a really good pick this year too. So they are moving in the right direction with still a lot of cap space. I really like what they did.
I think Indiana had probably the best trade deadline. Well, it wasn't that was one of the bigger deals, but wasn't the biggest. But probably the best trade deadline and set them up for the future was Indiana.
Yeah,
I think had the best
based on the direction that they're looking to go in. And we were
Yeah.
talking about this before. They needed to go into rebuild mode, and they
Yeah.
really did that. And the thing is with them is you still have pieces like Brogdon, Warren, and Turner if you want that you can move and get good assets back. Malcolm Brogdon is a very good point guard in the
Yes.
NBA. They're going to get some pieces back for that, which will be really nice.
Well, he also was originally a shooting guard, so you can put him back at the shooting guard to play
Right.
alongside
Yeah,
Haliburton if you want to.
You have a lot of
future. Yeah.
Right.
Also, I will give the Kings credit for one thing though. They were able to in a 4-team trade today get Dante DiVincenzo, which is kind of a replacement for Buddy Hield. He can shoot. He's an average defender. I think that's a good pickup for them too. I know think the Kings can make the playoffs now in the West, but for like a 7 or 8 seed, I don't really see it being worth it in the end of the day. Because Sabonis isn't going to win you a championship. Sabonis is going to get you to that 7 or 8 seed like he's done with the Pacers for the past 4 years.
And then you play Warriors or Suns first.
And then you lose in 4 games.
Right.
Good job, Sacramento. Good
job.
Yeah,
they got to break that playoff drought. I don't know how long it's been. I think it's over 10 years or something like that. But it's bad. That organization as a whole has been going in a bad direction for a while. They've been trying to do the rebuild thing for years with Cousins and then Fox and whoever, but I don't really mind it. Another thing about Damonte Sabonis is he's 25 and he's getting paid $19 million. Not a lot of money for somebody who is an established star in this league.
The one problem I have, though, is I don't see Sabonis getting better. Sabonis is what he's going to be for the rest of his career.
Right.
Which is a solid 20 and 10 player. De'Aaron Fox can still get better. I think if De'Aaron Fox can make a jump, maybe the deal becomes worth it in 2 to 3 years. But in 2 to 3 years, that team may look completely different the way they just trade and draft every year. Like they hopefully Davion Mitchell can turn into a star, but I think giving Tyrese Haliburton away was a mistake, and I think that'll prove to be a mistake in a couple of years, or I could be completely wrong. But the way Sacramento's track record is, it wouldn't be surprising if it flopped.
Yeah, I agree.
Porzingis?
Talk about the Porzingis, yeah.
You and I had the same reaction to this trade. I sent it directly to you. I said, why? Your response was also, why? Why?
That's exactly what it was.
Why would you trade? That trade doesn't do anything for either team besides clear cap space.
That's the thing. And it's especially bad for the Dallas Mavericks. I get that you need somebody like Spencer Dinwiddie is just too inconsistent. I know that they need a type of point guard who can handle the ball and take pressure off Luka Doncic, but Spencer Dinwiddie is not that good.
He's had a bad season anyway. And he's
having a bad season. He's shooting
too.
38% from the field this year. That's bad. That's bad. And I know Porzingis is on a bad contract. He's always injured. But I still feel like you could have gotten more than just Spencer Dinwiddie for that.
They got Bertans in that deal too, which is a decent 3-point shooter. But I don't.
He's had a bad year, by the way.
I think he has. He was not even playing. Yeah. I think the Mavericks did this to clear up cap space for 2023 and 2024 because to get rid of Porzingis' contract. That's what it was. But if you're Washington, why would you want that contract? Bradley Beal's hurt for this season. He wants to
out
leave.
For the season, and that's what I was going to say about
that
this.
Move is not going to keep Bradley Beal in Washington. He will leave. He's going to leave soon. He's tired of it. Then
did management forget that Bradley Beal 2 days ago had season-ending surgery? I feel like
I said at least they didn't give up much at least, but I feel like if you're looking at the Wizards, the plan was Porzingis. Hopefully Beal comes back healthy. Kuzma develops more, but that's not anything better than a 7 or 8 seed. Porzingis is always soft. He's becoming just a spinal 3-point shooter at the arc. He hasn't developed in years.
Yeah, and I don't see guys like Corey Kispert, Hachimura, or Avdija really developing into this next co-star as good as they may develop into. I don't see that. Also, with the lack of minutes at all those spots, small forward and power forward and center, with Porzingis now, who else do they have? Gafford. They just got. They still have Hachimura, Kuzma. There's too many players that are just backloading that front court. So it's really going to be interesting to see what they do.
The other thing is they have so many assets. Move some of them.
You're right.
If you're gonna move Bradley Beal, get so much in return. He has so much value when he's healthy. Or move Hachimura, or move Kuzma, move a couple of those guys. You have a lot of assets who are young players who can develop. Move a couple of them, get some picks, get some solid young players, and rebuild. It's
Who's their
time to
point
rebuild. Who's their point guard?
They just traded away Aaron Holiday to the Suns.
Yeah, he was there too. I don't know. They had their guard. It was like a very forward-heavy lineup. I don't remember who their point guard was.
It was Dinwiddie, and
Yeah,
it
but
was Holiday.
hurt
their
too. It was
backup.
Holiday, Dinwiddie, and let me check. Either way, I don't understand that trade.
I'm
That
very
trade was,
confused on the direction.
that trade was
Let's go into the Montrezl Harrell one, going to the Hornets for Vernon Carey Jr. and Ish Smith. First of all, I do like Vernon Carey Jr. I think he's a good player, but again, he's a big man. Oh, they got Ish Smith.
Oh, okay.
I guess they're starting.
He was on the Hornets yesterday when we beat them.
Smith now. Yeah. He was bricking shots against.
Yeah,
Philly.
hey, big game for Chicago last night. Good win.
Yeah.
Hit the over.
Nice
Won
win.
some money. There we go.
He's playing too many minutes though.
Yeah.
Montrezl Harrell is nice for them. Everybody who's a Charlotte Hornets fan has been begging that front office to try and go out and get a rim protecting big man. Is Montrezl Harrell a rim protecting big man?
No.
I don't really know. He's like 6'9".
He'll grab you some rebounds. He'll talk some shit. He'll get like 8 points. Then he'll be on the bench.
Right. So now Mason Plumlee coming off the bench looks better. I don't know. It depends on who you really want to start. If they want to stick with Plumlee and have Harrell come off the bench, because remember 2 years ago in 2 or 3 in LA for the Clippers, Harrell strived in that 6-man role. He won 6-man of the year, averaging like 15 a game off the bench.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I know Washington has tried starting him a little bit at the 5.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I do like the trade for them. I know they needed a big, and I'm sure the price for Turk was too much for them. So
I thought it was a decent move. It doesn't really change where they are. They're probably going to be a play-in team again, maybe make the playoffs this round. I probably get bounced out in 4 or 5 games in the first round, but it's a decent move for the future. Building with some young pieces. They're just building around LaMelo Ball. It's really how good does LaMelo get? It's how good they get.
Right. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks not making any moves. I mean, I'm loving
the Lakers or Knicks?
Lakers fans are pissed right now. There was some rumors that they were trying to get Christian Wood and John Wall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Westbrook, THT, and a pick or something like that. So, I mean, they were making calls, but like we said, we predicted this all year. They have no assets to give up. Everybody they're locked up money-wise between 3 different players. And THT, who's not this young budding star that they try and make him seem like. He's really not. He's an inefficient player who definitely has a ceiling. So, and when you look at that, they're the 9 seed right now, and they didn't make any moves. So where do you go from there?
Here's the problem with the Lakers. There's been so much drama around them. A team with LeBron James, Anthony Davis used to strike fear into the opponent. People were scared. I don't want to go play the Lakers. Davis can give me 30. LeBron will give me 30. No one is scared to play them. Portland beat them yesterday with G League players. No one is afraid to play the Los Angeles Lakers anymore. People give Russell Westbrook about 25 feet of space to shoot a brick off the side of the backboard. I'm sorry, but his career may be over. Like, I know that's a bold take, but the league is becoming a shooting league. Where do you think he's going to go where his career is going to get restarted?
I don't think he can go anywhere. I don't think that is a possibility. That's a good point.
He can go to Detroit and average a triple-double, but he's not going to win.
That's him. That's Russell Westbrook right there. He needs, I am the offense. I create everything. If I turn it over, it doesn't matter. If I miss a shot, it doesn't matter. I am the offense no matter what. That's been his mindset for the last however many years of his career. Didn't work in Houston with Harden, didn't work in Washington with Beal. And he did have these spurts where he just went off in that second half of the season, and that's still we haven't seen that spurts.
Well, you would see even though those spurts, would he shoot well? No. He was never a good shooter. And now he's playing on a team where he needs to be able to shoot because LeBron James is giving him wide open shots. I've seen the shots he's missing. I could hit those shots.
Right.
I wish I was getting paid $45 million to go brick threes off the side of the backboard.
Davis is shooting 17% from 3, which doesn't either. Those
that
are
season's a wash.
Co-stars.
Well, Westbrook's there for another season after this too, so they need to make a decision. No one wants his contract. They're going to be like this for 2 years. They're wasting the rest of LeBron James's career. Anthony Davis seems to be just a shell of himself. They're not going anywhere. They have no assets. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they maybe fall out of the race for the playoffs. Because if you look at the Western Conference
Hot
standings
take.
right now, it's a hot take. I agree. But if you look
So
at
the Trailblazers are a little bit behind them. They got worse. They're done. The Kings got better. They're trying. They're pushing for that.
yeah, here, let me pull up the
It's
Western
going to be
Conference
close. They're going to have to fight for the rest of the season, which is not what you wanted to do.
right?
If you
Because
were
you got
looking at the Lakers'
Timberwolves.
perfect season at the start of the year, it was we're in first place. We can coast. We can sit LeBron and Davis and Westbrook even, and just make the playoffs as like a 3-4 seed maybe. And then we play them all together and we make that push. But it just never turned out that way.
Well, right, and you got teams like the Pelicans got better. The Pelicans are right below them. The Trailblazers aren't going to drop, but the Kings are going to get better. The Clippers are going to stay ahead of them because they're just getting more guys back. The
Right.
Timberwolves will stay ahead of them because they're playing good this season. The Lakers just aren't winning games, and no one like a team last night like the Trailblazers were able to go out just because they're playing basketball, and the Lakers were just caught in more and more drama.
You had players like Dennis Smith Jr. balling. When is the last time we've heard something like that? Dennis Smith Jr. having the game of his life against the Los Angeles Lakers, who are supposed to be this juggernaut type team.
Yeah, we can touch on the Knicks real quick too if you want. The Knicks may be one of the biggest disappointments in the league, right behind the Lakers this year. Everyone thought they'd be a 5 or 6 seed again. That getting the offense would probably like Fournier and Kemba would help them. You and I didn't think that, but everyone else did.
Yeah. Really quick breaking news: Levine is on Team Durant and DeMar is on Team LeBron for the All-Star game. So they're
I'm rooting
split up.
for Levine then because I hate LeBron James. But hopefully both him and DeMar have like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Knicks though.
Yeah, they made that trade with Cam Reddish, and Tibbs doesn't play him. Apparently there's rumors that he didn't want him, and so now because he doesn't want him, he's like, "Oh, I'm Tom Thibodeau. I'm not going to play him." So, and they were trying to trade him at the deadline, and they didn't do it. So it's really, really looking bad for them. I know they literally made every single player on their roster available. That's not fun to hear if you're a team.
Neither
trying to make a push for the playoffs.
They won't. Neither of these teams are fun to talk about unless you're making fun of them. So
right, which is
let's move on. Let's quickly move on to probably the last thing we're going to talk about today, which is the Bulls. Any Bulls fans out there or anyone that's saying, "Well, why do we make a move? I want a Jeremy Grant. I want a Jakob Poeltl." Relax. There's the buyout market. We are also missing right now. We don't really need to make a move. Like people are worried that we're looking bad, but that's because we're missing Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Patrick Williams, and Derrick Jones Jr. Which personally I think are our 4 best defenders. If you ever wonder why our defense is struggling, it's because our 4 best defenders are not playing.
And Patrick Williams might be our 5th, by the way.
Yeah.
So
he should be back soon. Once everyone's healthy, I don't have any worries about our team. When we're healthy this season, we look like a top team in the NBA, and that's how we should look with the team that we have. Also, the buyout market's an option. We talked about this. Tristan Thompson, Robin Lopez. Who else would you want from the buyout?
I think Dennis Schroeder. I know they were rumored to try and trade for him before, just like a plug and play type player. I was talking last night with somebody, and when it is I know we're really hurt, but having DeMar DeRozan play with players like Matt Thomas, Troy Brown Jr., and all of them coming off the bench, Tony Bradley, it's really hard. DeMar DeRozan takes like 80% of the shots for that unit. So I think having another player who can actually create his own shot off the bench would be really nice. And then once Caruso and Lonzo come back, having Kobe and Caruso come off the bench and play with DeRozan a little bit when he's in with that bench unit will be really nice.
I'm more so worried about the defense too than the offense. We're scoring like 115 plus every game. It's just the defense right now, and you're missing the 2 of the best perimeter defenders in the league. I think they're both first team or second team all defense, in my opinion, when they're healthy.
Yeah.
Patrick Williams is a rising star. He's a great defender too, and Derrick Jones Jr. is an athletic guy as well. So,
yeah, I'm really happy that they didn't give up Patrick Williams because you do want that nice balance of young and older players, so you can have those younger players develop when the older players like Vooch and DeMar are out of their primes in 2 years. Yeah. That's when Patrick Williams steps up. That's when Kobe White steps up or Lonzo. You know, exactly. it's very good that we didn't trade that, because if you look at a team like the Golden State Warriors, who have Curry, Clay, Draymond, players ready to win right now, but they also have young players like Kuminga, Wiggins, Poole, Moody, and Wiseman, who are
Right.
ready to step into that mold and be the face of the Warriors franchise for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's what the Bulls are trying to do, but to like we have it at a lesser extent.
We were all so hyped after last year with the Vooch trade and all the moves we made that we're probably expecting something big again. But I honestly think not making a move was probably the smartest thing that our front office could have done.
We were a little handicapped because we haven't really gotten to see this team play together as a whole, including with Patrick Williams. So it'll be nice to see what happens when we come back and we have a big, not named Tony Bradley, who can actually run the court and play some sort of minutes in the NBA and like be decent. I don't know how else to describe
Just
that.
count down the days. If we can stay at like the 4th seed until at the end of March, I'll be happy. Then everyone's gonna come back and we'll be a problem.
Yep.
But
yeah. Patrick Williams is coming back mid-March, by the way.
Yes.
So that should be really
Hopefully.
nice. Oh, one more thing I wanted to add about the Ben Simmons thing. Philly fans are ruthless. That's maybe the biggest reason why he didn't play. And I've been to a game in Brooklyn this year. I went to the Brooklyn-Chicago game. It's 50-50. My uncle went to the Brooklyn Celtics games last night. The fans are 50-50. So Ben Simmons has like no pressure from fans. Nobody's going to be there. They don't have fans. Right. So there's no pressure on him besides like media outlets to really like perform at a high level. He doesn't need to score 20 points a game because he's going to get booed if he doesn't. That's not going to be a thing.
Well, yeah. What's good for him too is he has, when he's healthy, the best player in the NBA when healthy is Kevin Durant. Let's not get that twisted.
Yeah,
he's the best scorer easily. He is the best player in the NBA when he is healthy. And for Simmons just to say, "Here, take the ball, and I'll move out of your way," is such a luxury to have.
Also, when you
do that with Embiid, because Embiid
right.
he needs someone to give him the ball. That's what his problem with Philly. He needs the ball. Someone needed to give it to him.
And then you're going to have Simmons, KD, Irving, Curry, and Joe Harris in the game. So there's only one player who can't shoot, and it's Ben Simmons. Everybody else is a 40% three-point shooter on the court. That's so nice for him. That's the perfect team around him.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, so that's going to be all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show and want to drop a like on the video, please do. Also, subscribing to our channel helps us out a lot. You can follow us on Twitter at @beat_the_buzzer. And now you may follow us on TikTok at @beatthebuzzer.
Yeah, please check out that TikTok. We'll probably be uploading just some mini clips about other trades and other thoughts that we have gradually throughout the week. So please go check that out. As always, drop comments down below if you have anything that you want to add or want us to cover next episode. And thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.